Hello and welcome and happy Halloween to you all from Legoland Windsor. We are at their Miniland section of the park and it is game time. So grab your pens and papers. We are going to be writing down the letters as we walk around the park and looking at all the decorative pieces that they have added in for the Halloween display. So the first letter is R. I will be writing these down with you as we go. I have absolutely no idea what this spells. I did ask a couple of members of staff and they didn't know where they were, let alone what it said. So it wasn't very helpful, but we are starting by the letter R and we'll be walking around. I think there was a letter in every other land, hopefully. So I do have quite a good look and try and find down the bits and pieces, but the R is one of the furthest ones zoomed away, I think in front of Stonehenge. You can see they've got a couple of pumpkins out there with a few of the sheep, and there's a smaller pumpkin patch in a slightly different bit, and then you've got your tents and everything like that. So this video, like I said, it's just over 40 minutes long. It's not the super long videos that we normally do. I will be doing those once a year to see what is new, and then when it comes to the games, we'll just be walking around and looking for any new bits and pieces that they have added, because obviously certain places like potentially Billund, because I have seen a photo of their Miniland area for Halloween, that might be a very long video. It looks like there's something absolutely everywhere to look for, but it does seem to be that they've only grouped different bits and pieces together within this Miniland. So that's why I start panning through quite quickly, because there's no zombies, there's nothing dotted around in any of the areas whatsoever. But if you do find anything that's a little bit creepy, then obviously please do let us know. But I'm sure there is less in here than last year, but we'll see how it goes. But at least this gives you a little game to be playing over the Halloween Eve and Halloween itself, as long as I've actually got the upload schedule correct. And all the all the trains and the animatronics and everything are working correctly, so that's all nice to see. It was a perfect weather day when I turned up. So it was nice and sunny, so hopefully it's come across on the camera nice and clearly. But like I said, it's about 40 minutes. We're going to walk around the whole land, look for all the different letters, and obviously see if there is anything new that they've added and see what else we can spot with regards to what's where, and if you can see if they've added in any other displays or anything like that. And then hopefully you'll be able to write down all the letters, and in the comments below, either write down the letters as you go or write every single letter down and then try and make out what the word actually says. But I spoke to 3 different members of staff as I was walking around. I asked one of the members of staff if the game was actually complete and fully out. He said he didn't actually know, bearing in mind this was on the 6th of October this was filmed, and obviously the Halloween event opened up on the 1st, so I would assume that it was all out. I then spoke to another member of staff and I said to this individual, is the game complete? And he said yes, it's all out, but he hasn't been told where they are, so he doesn't know how many letters there are. And then I spoke to a third person, they didn't know either, so then I just gave up and was like, well, we'll just figure it out as we go around ourselves. So hopefully I have actually found all the letters, because I didn't know how many letters that I was looking for. So I'm getting my excuses in early. So if I have missed a letter and we can't spell it correctly, at least you're still playing a game and it's entertaining you ever so slightly. So there is another letter there. So that is the second one. So that is E. So we are in the E, and you can see that there is a little Halloween display just to the left-hand side of that as well. And you can see you've got the little sort of marching bands, and they were working. So I'll let you have a listen. So I don't think that was there last year with regards to the animatronics working. So they've obviously changed that in for that. So that's a nice touch. So there's massive differences with the whole park this year, including the Miniland bit. Because if you compare this to the Billund video from last year, there was just pumpkins and bats and everything absolutely everywhere. But I have yet to go over to Billund since and I'm doing the last voiceover for the whole event for the Windsor, which is obviously this video now, which is me personally doing the voiceovers too. And so I haven't got anything to compare it to, but I am going to be going over to the park. So I think the day this gets uploaded, so the day that you'll be watching this, will be the day that I will be in Billund walking around. So that would be pretty cool. So I can land and come back to all your comments and see what you guys and girls think of this, and then I'll get all of the Billund videos uploaded as quickly as possible, and then we will have something to compare it to over most of November probably, because there's going to be quite a few videos coming. But it is what it is. So the fountains and things in most of the sections weren't working, and none of the water park, so none of the water rides were working in the park either, just because it is so cold. So obviously I suppose, they're getting into their winter prep as such. So the rides that were not operational when I was here were the obvious ones, which were the Viking River Splash and the Log Flume, and I think the laser shooter was not open either, but hopefully that has now reopened for the Halloween season, and it will be open for the rest of the season as they wind down over Christmas. If you are going to go to the Santa's Sleepover, so that's their Christmas event, let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you are going to be coming around and what you are hoping to expect. And if you also went to the Brick or Treat event, then obviously please do let us know. So there's two bits that you can go to. So you've got the Santa's Sleepover, which is the one in the hotel. So if you're going to be staying there as a family, then obviously let people know what that is like and what the package includes. And I think the other one is just a Santa's Takeover. So it's just a takeover of the lands of the Miniland, and they obviously put all the Christmas theming in the park. But I would imagine, a bit like how I've said with this Halloween event, depending on what day you go will depend on what the operational hours of the park are, which will then give you the atmosphere of everything, or help create the atmosphere, shall I say, with regards to savor all of the Christmas lights and everything on the trees and things. Because certain days the park will still close at 4 o'clock, from what I can gather, because I have been reading people's comments online that they've booked a package at the hotel and they're wondering if the park is open later to hotel guests, so they can actually see the little bits and pieces that are on at night with regards to all the decorative pieces they put in the Christmas trees that will be around the park. But they obviously the answer to that is no. They lock up all the park by 5 o'clock, and the shop then is locked by 5, so they start kicking everybody out of the park by 4. Personally, I would like it if it's just down to operational costs, if they open up the park an hour later and then they just close it an hour later. So it was from like 11 till 5, the shop shut at 6, whereas at the moment the park is open 10 till 4 and the shop shuts at 5, just to give that extra hour of darkness, or as it's getting darker, so you can just walk around the Christmas areas and you can just see all the effort that the staff have put into all the extra lights and different bits and pieces like that. Obviously it's understandable from the point of view of if people have younger ones and they're not going to be there that late, I get that, but then obviously at the same time the hotels potentially might be sold out for the whole time, so there will be a lot of people staying at the hotels and older ones as well that would just like to see that kind of thing. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think, because if you compare the opening hours to Billund, and if we keep this to the Halloween opening hours as it stands, when I was here the park was open 10 till 4, shop shut at 5 on the exact same day. Billund was 10 till 5, shop shut at 6. On the weekends, I do believe Windsor is 10 till 6 or 10 till 7, one or the other. So we'll say 10 till 6, shop shuts at 7. But Billund, the park is open 10 till 8, the shop shuts at 9. So the hours are massively different on the weekends. But then that also comes down to, you still do have the option of coming to Windsor in the evening as such, when it's a little bit darker at Christmas. Not so much at the Halloween, because it doesn't quite get dark enough by 6 o'clock, I would imagine, to be able to walk around and sort of see all the lights, but you will get a better effect. So you've got those options really of, do you come at the weekend when it's much busier, but then you are guaranteed to see all the new pieces that they've put in and all the trees and things. That's what I'm tempted to do. I'm tempted to come on a Saturday or find the longest opening day, and then so I can actually see some bits and pieces in the evenings. I'd like to see the Miniland lit up and see if they've done any Christmas pieces for that and all the other decorative bits that they've put in. So I'd like to get sort of like the full effect. I was saying atmosphere before, but it's actually the full effect of everything that they put in the park. But then again, you've got to put up with all the other people that are there. But for me, I won't be going on any of the rides or anything like that. I just want to soak in everything that they've done. But what would you want? What do you prefer? Would you prefer the park being open as it is, where it's open till 10 till 4? Do you think that's a little bit short? I mean, bearing in mind, obviously I'm here on a Thursday, it's 10 till 4 and it was extremely quiet, so you can see why the opening hours aren't that big. But then at the same time, I would have liked it to have closed a little bit later, so it was a little bit darker, so I could have seen everything. But then I don't think it would have bothered me, the park opening up at 11. But obviously from a family and children's point of view, it would also be nice to hear. And obviously, if you're staying at the hotels, I guess that's the biggest kicker, because if you're staying at the hotel, you're going to be back at the hotel then from 4. And if you have bought the package where you've got a 2-day park access, then are you going to be? Is there enough entertainment at the hotel from 4 till for say 4 or 5 hours? Until the little ones go to sleep, and is there enough games and things at the hotels? I know if it was at Billund, I know you would not have a problem whatsoever, but I have not stayed at the Legoland or the Castle Hotel recently enough to say yes, definitely, or no, I'm not 100% sure if it would be. But if you have stayed this year, then obviously please do let us know, because are they still doing the treasure chest game? Are they still doing the games where it makes you sort of walk around the hotel, and then you've got to count all the different bits and pieces, so that eats into plenty of time. So if there's lots of activities and things for the little ones to do when you're at the hotel, then obviously it makes perfect sense to be able to go in there and not have to worry about it. But then at the same time, if you're staying there at the weekend and you don't have to get back to the hotel until 6, that's 2 hours less of worrying about what the little ones are going to be doing when they're running around. But there's so much entertainment on downstairs, and obviously loads of bits and pieces to eat as well. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem, but I suppose that is the main target audience. The people that are staying at the hotel, what do you feel? Is it all right shutting at 4 o'clock, or would you prefer it to close a little bit later? What would you like? Because I know, reading the comments, it's very much a case of, even though the park shuts at 4, do the hotel guests just get to walk around to see the Christmas bits? So I don't know if people have gone last year and they know what it was like. I didn't think it was on last year. I know it wasn't on in 2020, but I don't know if it was on in 2021. I'm not too sure if they were setting up for it and then it got cancelled or whatnot. But I thought COVID restrictions came back in at the end of 2021, but it's all been a blur. So just correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But yeah, I can see why it'd be quite nice for the hotel guests to be able to walk around sort of a little bit later on in the evening and just soak it all in. But then saying that, if they put a load of the Christmas trees down by the lake and in front of the hotels, to the back of the hotels, and they make a Christmas wonderland going between the hotel and the castle, that'll be all you need. That'll be hours of entertainment for the little ones walking around. So if they can put some more permanent displays down by the hotels for the hotel guests, I think that would be a perfect sort of personally, that'd be a perfect trade-off, because I would then be thinking, well, actually, I'd actually quite like to stay at the hotel just to see that, because that would be something that only the hotel guests could get. And then potentially, obviously, from a business point of view, it might get people to book in more of the hotel. Now, they, as you hopefully spotted, Legoland Windsor have done a very nice thing as a tribute to the Queen. If you were reading that plaque as I was talking about everything to do with the Halloween and the Christmas bits and pieces, that was a tribute to the royal family. They're sending their condolences to, and what they had done, they had ripped out the Tree of Creativity, and at the front of the gate they had just laid loads and loads of flowers, because this area had changed massively, because it was all to do with the Queen's Jubilee. I'll let you listen to this just for a second. So it was all to the Queen's Jubilee. As we pan up and look to the left, there will be a road that was full of cars, people waving flags. The Queen was driving around and sort of waving to everybody. Obviously, that's all been taken out because it was all celebratory of life, and they had just tastefully changed it with laying all the flowers and everything at the front. So I thought that was a real nice touch from Legoland Windsor. And obviously, the Queen has been here a couple of times, I do believe, because that is in the history of this park as well. Now, going back to the bits and pieces at the hotel, I think it would be quite a nice touch if they did that for Christmas, and they made it a bit more of almost like a Christmas grotto type area where you could walk between the two hotels, and you had that full effect at night, especially if you're never going to be able to see it fully during the day, because the park's not open that long. They have done something different this year for Halloween, so if you have spotted that, they have added in the white skulls. So the white skulls are a new touch to the outside of the hotel. So if you're getting a little bit confused because your hotels are slightly different to the layout of the ones at Legoland Windsor, As we drive into the park, we have the hotel to the left-hand side, and we basically drive straight through that, straight past that, so it's on the left-hand side. The parking for that hotel is on the right. We then start to drive up the slopes and then go into the main car park. Then we walk in, and then what you can then do is you can walk around the park as like a big circle. You end up walking around the front of their big water lake, which then takes you to the back of each hotel. Weirdly though, one of it is actually the front entrance to the Legoland Castle, and the other one is the back entrance to the hotel. So it's how those two connect. It's how you got to go from one to another. It's a bit of a bizarre layout, but it works. But this time what they've done is they have added in a really nice photo opportunity, which I am hoping that would actually be lit up at night, because that would be a really nice thing to see. Because I didn't spot any little spotlights in that area, and I didn't see any spotlights in the trees either, because they've got now like a perfect walkway between the two hotels where I didn't see any sort of purple, orange or green lighting. But if you did stay at the hotel and you were there for the Halloween event, was it lit? What was it like? What did you think? Please let everybody know in the comments below, because if they started to do more and more of that, I would actually be more tempted to stay at the hotel just to see something completely different. I know they've gone absolutely massive this year at the Legoland hotel in Billund, because I know the hotel is completely orange at night and there's all sorts of different bits and pieces. So maybe Windsor could hopefully get some ideas and improve little bits by little bits, but obviously it's still COVID times, it's still tough, it's still everything with regards to numbers and money outlay and everything, so it's all fully understandable. But we are going round. Is there another letter? Is there another letter dotted around somewhere? I think there's one close to here, but if you spot it, let us know in the comments below where it is. We have got nothing at the train station with regards to, again, vampires, zombies or anything like that. There was nothing at the churches, which I thought there would be. I didn't even see an odd pumpkin either. So I know there is one around here somewhere, because I remember spending a good amount of time actually looking for it off camera, because I was thinking, well, if there's not one in London, there's got to be someone somewhere. Because I started to panic a little bit, because I thought that lady was actually putting one in, but they were fixing a tunnel to the track. Something had given way, and some of the stones had fallen down, so they were sort of replacing and redoing that area. Because it was very much of a maintenance day today. A lot of the keepers are out, so you can see that there's another chap over there sorting out all the electronics and everything, getting it ready basically for half term, I would imagine, for the holidays over this way. But again, if you are paying massive attention, have I missed anything? Because I can't see it massively well until I then re-watch it back on the telly, because it's done in a much smaller box, so it's not the easiest thing for me to watch back. I might need to improve my setup a little bit so I can actually see it when it comes to games a little bit more than that. But you'll see a bus, I think, in a second that will be coming round, and then you've got the parade down this way. And then on the other side, you have got the harbour and things like that. So you've got the tour bus, that's still working absolutely fine. And I don't think they've added in anything new in that area. It did look like it had all been cleaned, because there was a person actually cleaning the bit that's behind me. I think we will see that individual as we go around. So it did look like they were sort of scraping all the gunk and everything off the bottom, which again makes a massive difference. It looks much nicer and much cleaner when it's like that. They don't actually drain the water out, they just scoop all the algae and gunk off the bottom instead. So there we go, they don't have to take all the water out to then give it a brush down. So you've got somebody doing some bits and pieces there, fixing some things. And then that bus has now moved. That bus was in a different angle, because that always intrigues me why that bus is actually there, because that was from the NASA Space Centre, and they've moved it over because there's another one just there as well. So they're the two older buses, and now we'll be coming round. I think we'll be coming round into France, and we will hopefully be picking up another letter soon. But we are already halfway into this game, and we have only found 2 letters. So yeah, I would have liked to have been if there was more, because obviously you just want to be paying attention to it more. But I guess it worked It worked well if it was just very much a case of you could just run around the land, look for the letter, look for one or two of the little bits and pieces they had put in. So there would have been, there's a Halloween costume display which they did last year, which looks nice and effective. I think that'll be coming up within this one, I think. And then I don't know, I would imagine there'll be another one in Santa Pod, so that'll be 4 letters. But I can't remember, like I said, how many letters I actually found, because I didn't write them down as I was going, because obviously I'm not going to keep stopping the camera to write all the letters and things down. But I've got my phone beside me, so hopefully, unless I've been looking down and not actually looking at the screen properly, I only have R and E so far. What do you guys have? Because if I've missed a letter, then this isn't going to go well whatsoever. And I have no idea what it's going to say. So yeah, we will figure it out hopefully. And if for whatever reason this has just been a complete waste of time, but you are watching this back laughing, going, yeah, there should actually be more letters than that, let everybody know. Just mangle them up in a different order so they can still play the game, and hopefully this will just sort of snowball. I will do my very, very best to come back here at Christmas and just see what they do in the Miniland for the Christmas displays, because like I said, they in the past have put a lot of Christmassy bits and pieces on the rooftops, only in certain lands though. So say for example in the booklet it will say try and find 10 Christmas related things around London, and then that's what we can do. I can literally just film that, do that as a game. If this is actually then lit up in the evenings, it's a little bit darker, I can then just do a walkthrough on the GoPro and we can just see it lit up at night for the first ever time. So you might have another, potentially one more video of the game, and if it is lit up, maybe 2 more Miniland ones to come. So here we have it. S. I'm saying it's an S, not a 5. That is an S. I think it's an S. It looks like an S. We'll have an S. So R-E-S. What do we reckon? Another one's going to be T. It's going to say rest. Have I actually written down this down in order? Because it's not going to be rest in peace, because there's definitely not enough letters for that. So are they mocking us as we go? So there, like I said, I generally thought that was a letter, and then as soon as I found that one, because I couldn't see that letter from where I stood, that's why you've got to walk all the way around the land to see it, because you can't see the back of the sort of the cardboard cutouts where you sort of stand in other bits. But at least we're three letters in, and then I think we'll then move on to what looks like there's some sheep and some cows. So there we go, something slightly different. You can see it looks like there's some sheep in the back of that truck, or there's a duck in the back of that. There's something in the back of that pickup anyway. And then you've got the horsey bit. Now, when they did the Mythica, they actually put all the different bits and pieces in the Mythica. Now, the spaceship's about to take off. I'll let you listen. So again, the effects for that are working absolutely fine. I don't know if the one in Billund actually is taking off yet or not, but the smoke effects and everything is still coming out the bottom. The timer on this still works out to be absolutely fine. And there is a little bit of a display and another letter here. So we have N, I think. So now I am getting really confused. So R-E-S-N we have got. And you can see, if I zoom in cleverly enough, they have just added in some little models and up at the top. So you've got quite a few models up on the pad there. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Cauldron 9, 10 models there. And then up on the plinth just above it, you've got the vampires. So that'd be 11, 12, 13 little models on that one with the letter N. So they've just grouped all of those together. It's actually quite difficult to spot the odd figure. We've had this conversation a few times before, because if this was minifigure scale, it would be impossible to see, as we figured that out with regards to the one at the Lego house, because all of that is minifigure scale, but it's not as deep as this, so you can walk around it as a tight circle, so it's a little bit easier to see, whereas these buildings are just absolutely massive. They need to make, obviously, the figures that they've done bigger. All makes perfect sense, but when they only put 1 or 2 new figures in, it is really hard to see, because they just blend in with everything else. So I was getting to the point of I didn't think they'd actually done any of that. So I actually do just start to speed up a little bit, because I was trying to look off camera, thinking, oh, there might be the odd figure here, might be the odd figure there, but obviously how they grouped all of those together at the start, it's not likely that they're going to have another display within the space centre. It would have been nice if they had, but obviously I don't think they had, and there isn't another letter to find. So again, as a recap, I have written down 4 letters, R-E-S-N. So I don't know. We will just make it up. Well, I'm sure we'll just be able to make up some sort of word. Hopefully it's a spooky word. But to me, the area looked nice and clean. Now this music piece here at the back had literally just been added in. I just spoke to the member of staff. I think as I come back through, I then speak to the person that had just reinstalled that, because when I did the Miniland walkthrough, that bit wasn't there. So like I said, they are always fixing and repairing little bits and pieces. Now, last year, if I remember rightly, there was loads of people being chased around here, all up at the top and all around the outer edge. That's why I zoomed into the exact same place again, and they hadn't added in any of those on there. So I'm just assuming that they just either didn't have time to do it, or I might have missed a massive area of where they had put something. I don't know. But obviously the bridge is looking nice and clean. You've got all the beach scenes and everything at the back. That still looks nice and smart. I wasn't too sure they had added in some pumpkins and stuff at the back. Not too sure what those 3 little figures are at the very, very back. I don't know if they're supposed to be bears. I don't know if they were always there, so I don't know if that's been added in for the Halloween bit, but we'll just say it is Then you've got the pandas chilling out at the back. And then as we come through and round, it's a little bit jumpy because obviously I am moving so quickly. You've got to be, for me normally, to make these videos a little bit longer, I've got to be super smooth so they're not that jolty. But again, I'm just sort of now not actually looking through the camera, so I'm glad that it is actually coming through, because I'm looking at it with my own eyes thinking there's got to be more around than what we can see in each one of these different sort of parts of the world. So that's like the rest of the world section as such. So we've nearly broken half an hour, 4 letters in, we've got just over 10 minutes left, and then we are going to be done. So hopefully this isn't a complete waste of time, and hopefully this actually does work in the algorithm, so you guys and girls do get to watch this back. But I again can't see anything further afield within that. Well, I've just pinged my face to the screen. I couldn't see anything further in there. And then we'll then come fit into the very last bit. And then I do believe behind us we will then have a loop at the bigger area of America. And then we've got the new fully refurbed Santa Pod Raceway, which is all working with the animatronics, apart from the drag cars. They've still not put the buttons back in for those. So what is around here? I see a letter. We have a letter. Here we go. M. Are they just making this up now? So we have R-E-S-N-M. And a nice little display at the front. So you can see that is the kind of theme that they've used. They've got the little, almost like the dinner table on the front on that one. And then you've got the cars and everything coming into the gates, and then I made sure that everybody's little favourite one was there, which is the dog stealing or being fed by the security guard at the end. That's always quite nice to see. So you've got the motor vehicles coming in, all the bikes, the cars and everything, and then we will pan round. So I think that is the only little display in this part of America. So you had those handful of those figures, but some of the buildings are absolutely amazing this way, so it's definitely worth seeing. So if you have not been to Legoland Windsor before, but you have been to your local Miniland, how does this one compare? Because there is massive amount of differences in all the different Minilands that you guys and girls can see. I found a video recently of the one in Malaysia, and it could not have been any different to this whatsoever. So That might be on my cards some point next year, because I'm very, very impressed by the look of that park, and there
Can you
is multiple
believe the
things that I
Statue
could
of
potentially
Liberty was
do
built
up
by
that way.
one
So
model builder here at the
maybe,
Legoland Windsor Resort?
So it was working really well with giving you the facts and figures with regards to everything. It was like a weighted thing. So if you stood on a certain part of the floor, she then started to speak to you and gave you different facts regarding buildings, model makers, and things like that in this area. Now, as we come around, you've got, obviously, there is plenty of different bits and pieces to read within this mini land, and this mini land obviously does have something for everybody with regards to different pieces of the world. The mini land in Florida, I know that had sort of been recently changed about ever so slightly. If anybody is watching from the States and you've been over to the one in Florida, what have they done with regards to their mini land? Is it just all Florida? Is it just all America? Because the one in Billund, it's local. The one in Germany park is local, whereas this one is obviously completely different. The Miniland in Dubai, again, that's all local to Dubai as well, but it just seems to be they've put London in as the main sightseeing bit, but rather than doing all the other countries and all the other capitals around, they've just added in the main ones from obviously London, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, and then you've got all the other little bits and pieces in as well. So what do you think compared to your local one? I am looking to see if there is anything else dressed up, but there isn't. But there's loads of Elvises around here. I think there's loads of weddings. That's what I'm looking at. So you had a wedding there, you had Elvis crossing over, and then as I come down and pan down, there's another 2, maybe 3 weddings going on. So you've got the wedding there at the very, very start. You've got one further back. It's not like they're being proposed to, because they are in their wedding dresses. So obviously a very, very busy place to get married over here in Las Vegas on this section. But you can see there's 5, maybe 7 figures just within that sort of frame shot, and then we pan round and we've got all the other buildings, and I think we'll get to the corner and then we'll get straight to Santa Pod. So we're coming almost into the final 10 minutes. I'm just looking at the letters that are here now. So RESNM, no idea. I can't work that out off the top of my head as I'm trying to look at this and speak at the same time. So hopefully you guys and girls are having a better luck than me. Now, I haven't bored you yet with the playlist. So there's multiple playlists. So this video is in the Legoland Windsor 2022 playlist. So at the start of the videos is everything from the start of the season in much greater detail, and then you will have all of the Brick and Treat event, and then potentially you might have the Santa Takeover event as well. Same thing for Billund, you'll have Legoland Billund 2022, and then you'll have the Halloween videos in there as they start to get uploaded. You've got Dubai 2022, and then another big playlist is the How to Get Around / Accommodations playlist. That is just a mashup of everywhere that I've gone in the world with regards to just finding local accommodation. Another letter. We have T, and we are looking, I think there's like 2, maybe 3 figures. So you've got, I can see 1, 2. So I've got 2 of them. 2 figures in there, and the letter T. Rest NM? No idea. Come on, guys. You've got to be good at this. I don't know there's another letter. I think that potentially might be all of them. So what we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 letters. I don't know. So you've got the campfire. So all of this has been done over this year. So they've been adding this in over sort of from when it opens up until the sort of the main summer season. They've been adding in more and more and more of the vehicles and helicopters and everything on here. This way, so no, there's got to be another letter, because I know there's a big display here. So there's another letter here, which is D. O. D or no? O. 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 You go for O. O. O/D. And then you have got all of the little pumpkin patch with the skeletons. Now this was a display that was here last year, but it's halved in size, which is a little bit of a shame. But I'm saying that's a no. And if it doesn't make sense as a no, we'll change it to a D. We'll make this up as we go along. I think that is the moral of this. But 10 minutes left. We can just start making up words. We'll do it as a game. If you can only make a 3-letter word out of what you've got, keep it clean. It's supposed to be spooky related. Write it in the comments, and you get a point for each for each letter used in the word, and obviously you win if you get the correct word. Because I don't know what the correct word is. I don't know if I've said that 400 times yet in this video. Nobody can tell me what the word was. Nobody can tell me how many letters were in the park. So we will go round, and then we'll go down the steps, and then we've got two final lands, and then we'll walk through the last part of Wales, I do believe. So that is the final bit to come. You've got the cars here, and then after, I do believe, Silverstone, they added in these cars as well. So this is your vehicles that are there. So you've got the Red Bull, the Ferrari, and the Mercedes. And then there's nothing hidden in the stands or stadiums, and then we just loop that round. But the Ferris wheel, you can see how clean and new and everything looks. I'm just looking inside the actual, trying to look inside the cabins, and there isn't anything in there as it's going around the wheels. There's no hidden monsters, no hidden anything. And then now we have moved down. I did not want to bore you walking down the steps. Moving on to the next thing. Now, I thought there would have been a letter here. And I got a bad feeling there might have been blown over. But maybe not. So I don't think, because it took me ages to find the letter that was here in the Mythica game. But I don't know if it was because it was on a rooftop and it blows over, and then obviously if it blew over, it'll just be flat, so you can't actually see it. Or they've just not put anything down here, because I think it had been almost every other land there was a letter. But yeah, I've got a very bad feeling there isn't another one. I've said that a couple of times now, but I think that's it done. But I'm now really going to pay attention to see if there is, and I missed it and I just can't remember, because obviously it is so open, it's very difficult for them to place a letter anywhere apart from at the start or in one of the train stations. But obviously if they put it in the train station, you walk past it and the train comes by and you time it wrong, you're then not going to be able to see it. So this bit's too open. You would imagine they wouldn't put it there because it would just blow over. Obviously they can. I know there's people going where they could weigh it down. Obviously they're more than likely they could, but I think they would have tend to have put it into a more busy bit. I didn't go into the brick this time because it looked like it was very, very busy, which was nice to see from the outside. So lots of people building different bits and pieces. So I don't know if that was just where they were then encouraging people to build more pumpkin type displays that they were doing in the Imagination Centre. I just completely ran out of time. By the time I'd done this and done the last video, it was nearly 4 o'clock, and then it was time to go home. So the day disappeared very, very quickly. Back-to-back filming for multiple hours, but hopefully it's giving you some sort of entertainment over the month of October. Is there anything in here? Anything in here? No. No, can't see anything. Still can't see anything. Look at the roofs, the roads, further down. Any patches actually on the floor, anything floating around in the water. So I think the letter was stuck on top of the rooftop last time for the Mythica game. But I definitely cannot see anything. But I thought it was quite nice that there's somebody being proposed to on the bridge, or they're having a little smooch, which was always a nice little thing to see as we come round. Boats are working absolutely fine, so no, I couldn't see anything on that one. This would have been a lot easier for them to put a letter in, but I can't remember the last time they put anything on this bit. But real big open village. You can see the amazing detail in the brickwork on this one. That's why I zoomed in on this one. So we've got 4 minutes left, guys. So I'm going to get it in now. If you can like and subscribe and all that good stuff, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you are watching this back and it has entertained you over Halloween Eve into Halloween, because I would have either uploaded this on Halloween Eve, which I do believe is on a Sunday, or I've just kept it to the normal Monday. But I'm tempted to actually upload it on the Sunday to give people the opportunity to watch a longer video and give them something to do over the weekend. But we'll see what I decide. So hopefully you're either watching this on the Eve or the Halloween, and you do end up having a nice spooky Halloween, and you get to watch all the different bits and pieces that you want to watch, and you can just stuff your faces with whatever sweets and candy and all that kind of stuff that it is that you want to do. And like I said, I will be walking around Legoland Billund on Halloween Eve, which will be I'll be walking around Billund, shall I say, which will be the Sunday, because I'll already have filmed everything, which would have been on a Saturday. And like I said at the start of the video, it will be open till late, which is amazing. So it means I can walk around for the first time, see it all lit up, and see what it is like. Have we got anything else to see within this section? We'll walk around, have a look at the end building, looking at any of the vehicles that are driving around. There's just nothing that I can see letter-wise. So as it stands, as a recap, I only have R, E, S, N, M, T, and O. So obviously this is Italy, so that's something that you can stop and read, and it gives you all the facts and figures with regards to how long it took the model makers to do, how many bricks were used, and everything along those lines. And again, it will then also tell you what is in the areas and everything like that. So you could have a very long time within this Miniland if you wanted to soak all of this in. Like I said, I'm just walking around it quite quickly. If you wanted to sort of stop and soak it all in, you'll probably need, say, like an hour, a good hour maybe, just to soak it all in, or you could just walk through it in 5 minutes and see everything. I think the walkthrough video I did did not stop walking with the GoPro. I think for me to get around every single one steadily, I think it was, what was it, a 35-minute video. So to see everything without actually stop walking, you probably need about half hour. Right, that is those two areas done, and there was nothing there. And then what I've done is I've then come to the other part, and I think we're going to finish the video where we started, which will be back at the pumpkin patch, I do believe. I think that is what I have tried to do, because this is the bit that wasn't filmed, because I've already gone round the other way, so I already turned round right. So there won't be any other letters within this bit, because we've already got the letters. So I think that's it. So if you can start trying to figure out what it is with regards to those letters, then fine, unless we'll have one more letter to come in. Because the reason why I started where I started the video last time is actually where I finished the video last year. So I spent the whole time looking for the main pumpkin patch display. Because this just happened to be the last land that I went to. I think I started at Santa Pod, did everything on the outside, and then finished this bit just here. I think though, I do this, think it would be a good idea to finish here. We've already got the R written down, so don't write down the R again. That was the first letter that we did, and I think I remember that I didn't do a certain bit. So we come around Wales, yeah, we missed a little bit of Wales out. So we'll quickly do this for the last minute and a half, see if there is anything, and after go quiet for the last 30 seconds, and then the video will end. But you can see the pumpkin patch from this side, so again, I don't think there's going to be a letter around this way. And then you've got the cows and everything up at the top. You've got all the mountain goats and whatever else it is you can see. They had not added in any zombies being chased or anything in the church grounds. As we come round, come through. No, I don't think there is anything. Guys, so there's about 40 seconds left. So I'll say it again, if you can like and subscribe and all that good stuff, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Massively appreciated for all your comments, your likes, and just everybody that has subscribed to the channel recently. Thank you very much indeed. Hopefully you are enjoying your Halloween. If you're watching this well after Halloween, hope you had a nice one anyway. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You guys take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.